my presentation today. My name is Ian Pugh. Today I'm going to speak about climate change and how that affects the whole world as a whole. And climate change is a really big problem, and it's been a problem in the United States and for the world for a long time. Now, for this, I'm going to give more of a persuasive topic on why we need to help and change, as the world as a whole, to attack climate change and the causes and whatnot for climate change. So, now, what is climate change, and what are some solutions that we can solve for it? Or what are your thoughts on climate change as a whole? So, yep. Okay, yeah. For sure. Yeah, so climate change is the release of fossil fuel energy through factories, and it affects the ozone layer, and it makes it thin over time, causing the world to heat up and the ice caps to melt, causing the oceans also to rise. Now that can affect land masses, as a lot of bioplants and bioorganisms live on land, and water covering it over time can help harm those, and it affects the biodiversity of plants and with animals. And so essentially when the water rises, we'll have less and less land, as the whole world is made up of 75% land anyways. That wouldn't be an ideal good thing. Now, a common factor, or the blame, I want to say blame, but one of the biggest factors of climate change is through China. Beijing area has a big, factory production, because they produce a lot of, materials and whatnot, and chemicals throughout the world, and it releases a lot of pollution. Now, if you go to Beijing, China, a lot of the inversion pollution is over there. As like here in Salt Lake City and in Provo and Orem, Utah, we have a big pollution problem through cars, and cars through emissions cause that to heat up through climate change, as well as carbon dioxide. Releases through like the pipe behind the car, it goes out. So those are other factors as well. That's why in the past administration for the Biden administration caused to attack climate change as, electric vehicles. And electric vehicles, they don't produce as much, fossil fuel emissions, as well as, the shutting down of plants and not being energy dependent on other countries in the Middle East, where we get our oils. Now they can cause, oil and gas prices to rise as, he shut down the pipeline that runs through Canada to Mexico, the Keystone pipeline, and whatnot. So there's a lot of, good and bad factors of this. Some other visual aids I have thought, to help. This is what the world will look like in 100 years if we do nothing to stop, climate change. So this is just essentially, this is just a picture I got from online. I don't know if you can read that. And basically it's going to, cause so much pollution and biohazards and, harm to the environment that pretty soon, will look really, really, essentially deserted, and, we wouldn't have as much really blue skies as much, it'll be more gray because of the pollution and, things like that. And then this is also a global average temperature through, what the world used to look like when climate change was low up to over time. So this is a data statistic chart I got online, and as you can see, it kind of went up a little bit over time, and it's increasing, and here in 2025 it has gotten a lot more bigger, especially with this administration, where our primarily energy is through fossil fuels. So you can see that data statistic chart. And so from 1860 to 1960, it has gone up because we have produced more and more, factory production, where we get our, not only our books and tables and basically everything you see every day is made, a lot of it in a factory. You go into a Walmart or whatever it is, a lot of stuff is made that way. And so basically, in a more persuasive topic, that a good way to handle that and attack that is to basically have more of a clean energy efficient way to produce factory-made products. So instead of making it through fossil energy like through coal, we can make it through like solar energy to produce that, to make our, like our vacuum cleaners, or, I can come over here. This is my third visual aid. This is a plant that I got, that I bought a while back. Now this plant wouldn't be alive if, fossil energy got too bad, as this relies on oxygen. Now, oxygen we need to breathe, but that produces photosynthesis, and essentially the plant's health, diversity needs help with cleaning air and clean energy to sustain a healthy life. So, let's see what time is here. And so in my opinion, solar energy is a big and producing way of, making stuff without releasing harmful biotoxins to the environment. So now what I would like to encourage for all of you guys is to really help and really petition for biodiversity in having clean energy through solar panels. Now solar is getting bigger and bigger over time, but will this actually help through making products more and more through clean solar rather than through fossil energy? And climate change has been a problem for a lot of years, and I think this will really benefit for the better. And I think like through fossil energy and through factories and coal energy, now that's good, but over time, especially through China, it makes it a bigger hazard. So, and these are other articles that you can read other articles online about how like fossil energy has created harm over the environment for many years. And this is what I got. There's lots and lots of articles on this, and you can read yourself about how harmful it can be. So what are your guys' thoughts? Do you guys think you can be persuaded in a way to help the environment better through reducing the fossil fuel factory production, and they're going to the opposite direction for clean energy through solar production, or another way like batteries release battery acid, but maybe you could put more money into research to have more of another alternative to produce cell phones or anything, or cars or whatever, to help reduce the risk of fossil. So that's it for my presentation today, but I hope you guys have a better understanding, and hope you guys lean more toward the fossil energy, and hope you understand my logic and reason through my emotion concern on this, and how that is very harmful to the world and as well to the environment. And I hope you guys have a really good rest of your day. And if you need any help, this is my through the TED Talk, this is my information right here, Dr. Benson. And you can also reach out to my colleagues if you have any more questions. And other than that, I think I'm pretty good. So hope you guys have a good day. Thank you very much for your time. Enjoy. Thank you.